In 2006, the BBC took a children's show about a man with a blue police box and made an adults-only spin-off about his ex-boyfriend. They called it Torchwood. It is an anagram of Doctor Who. It is also, by the end, 4 seasons of the most punishing television the BBC ever made. It runs out of a secret base under Cardiff Bay. Aliens fall through a hole in time. The team that hunts them down is led by an immortal con man from the 51st century named Captain Jack Harkness. He cannot die. Everyone he loves can. 41 episodes, 5 protagonists, 3 of them in body bags by the end. This is Torchwood, a rainy Cardiff murder scene. The police get pulled back. A 4-person team in civilian clothes walks up to the corpse, snaps a metal gauntlet onto the dead man's head, and brings him back to life for 2 minutes to ask him questions. PC Gwen Cooper watches the whole thing from a parking garage. Gwen is a Welsh police officer who got too curious. She follows the team to a stone slab in Roald Dahl Place that is actually an invisible lift. She finds the hub. She meets the man in the World War II coat. His name is Captain Jack Harkness. He is played by John Barrowman, who is having the best time anyone has ever had on a BBC drama. He runs Torchwood 3. Torchwood is the secret organization Queen Victoria set up in 1879 to catch alien threats after the Doctor irritated her in a Doctor Who episode the previous year. Torchwood 1 was in Canary Wharf and got wiped out by Cybermen on Doctor Who. Torchwood 3 is the leftovers in Cardiff, sitting directly on top of a rift in time that drops aliens, alien tech, and the occasional dinosaur into Wales like a leaky ceiling that has been leaking since the Victorian era. Cardiff, in this show, is haunted. Roald Dahl Place is a tourist attraction sitting on top of a paranormal coal mine. The team: Dr. Owen Harper, surgeon, professional sarcasm dispenser, played by Bern Gorman before he became Hollywood's go-to-bald villain. Toshiko Sato, the tech, sweet, brilliant, terminally underestimated by everybody including herself, played by Naoko Mori. Ianto Jones, the butler, the suit, the man with the coffee who is sleeping with the boss and hiding a secret, played by Gareth David Lloyd. And Susie Costello, the second in command, played by Indira Varma, who has 8 episodes left to live in this room. Susie killed 3 people this season. She did it to practice with the Resurrection Gauntlet, because she thinks if she gets good enough with it, she can bring people back forever. Jack catches her. She shoots Jack in the head. The hole closes. She shoots herself in the head instead. Jack offers Gwen Susie's job. Gwen says yes. Gwen's first day on the job. A meteor crashes in the woods. Gwen accidentally cracks it open with a chisel. A purple cloud of sex gas escapes. The gas possesses a young woman named Karis, who proceeds to have sex with a man at a nightclub and reduces him to a pile of glittering dust at the moment of climax. This is Torchwood. The pilot was about a magic glove that resurrects corpses. Episode 2 is about an orgasm alien. The BBC was branding this thing post-Watershed. Karis works through 3 more men, including most of a fertility clinic, before the team corners her at the clinic. Jack kisses her to drag her body back to itself. The alien dies separated from its host. Karis lives. Gwen kisses Jack to thank him. Jack pauses to consider after she leaves. The will they won't they between them is now operational. An alien device that shows you traumatic moments in the past and possible futures. Gwen sees a forgotten World War II evacuee child on a train platform. Owen sees a young woman raped and murdered under a bridge in 1963. The killer is still alive. He is now a paranoid old shut-in named Eddie Morgan. Owen confronts him. Eddie comes after them with a knife. Owen wrestles him for it. In the struggle, Eddie walks straight into the blade Gwen is holding. He dies on the pavement. Gwen stands there in shock, blood on her hands, exactly matching a vision she had earlier of her own future. Last shot: Jack and a quietly crying Gwen on the bay, watching the sun rise. Ianto's secret comes out. His girlfriend Lisa Hallett worked at Torchwood 1. She got partially cyber-converted during the Canary Wharf invasion on Doctor Who. Ianto rescued what was left of her, smuggled her to the hub, and has been hiding her in the basement on a power feed for months. He thinks she can be cured. She cannot. The half-converted Lisa breaks loose. She kills a Japanese cybernetics specialist Ianto brings in to help. She tries to convert Gwen on the same machine. She steals a pizza delivery girl's body to get to Ianto, named Annie Botchwell in the credits, because Russell T. Davies likes to name his casualties. The team shoots them both. Jack has Ianto on his knees, gun to his head, until Ianto goes back to do it himself. Jack and Ianto's relationship will not recover for half a season. The team has now had its first internal kill order. The next thing they get is the moral kill order, the one where Jack picks the planet over a child. An old friend of Jack's named Estelle Cole has spent her life chasing fairies. They turn out to be real. They are also from the dawn of time, control the weather, and operate completely outside linear time. A little girl named Jasmine is their next chosen one. They want her. Her stepfather is a child abuser. The fairies fairies kill him. Jack arrives at the standoff in the woods. The fairies tell him if Jasmine is not delivered, they will end the world. Jack lets her go. Gwen, Owen, and Tosh do not forgive him. This is the episode where the show announces it is not going to give you a clean win. Jack is willing to trade a child to fairies to save the planet. Jack is the protagonist. The team responds to 17 missing persons in a remote Welsh village in the Brecon Beacons. They find butchered corpses in the woods. They assume aliens. It is not aliens. It is the village. The locals have been hunting outsiders every 10 years for sport and meat. Gwen asks the lead villager why. He whispers, "Because it made me happy." Gwen goes home and starts a long-term affair with Owen. The Torchwood 3 workplace harassment seminar would have been a long meeting. Tosh, the loneliest member of the team by a country mile, gets picked up at a bar by a charming alien woman named Mary, who gives her a pendant that lets her read minds. It changes Tosh's life. She uses it to save a kid from being killed by his own father. She also reads Owen and Gwen's affair, and Ianto's grief, and her own co-workers' pity for her, and it just about destroys her. Mary is an exiled alien who has been ripping out human hearts for 150 years to feed her stolen human body. Jack rigs a transporter to send her to the center of the sun. Tosh crushes the pendant under her foot. She is back to being lonely by the closing credits. Susie Costello, killed in episode 1, has been planning her own resurrection from beyond the grave for 3 months. The team brings her back with the gauntlet to question her about a series of new murders. She does not die again when they expect her to. Instead, the gauntlet starts draining the life out of Gwen and feeding it into Susie. Susie kills her own bedridden father. She tries to escape. Jack shoots her. She does not die. He shoots her 4 more times. She does not die. Tosh figures out the gauntlet is the live wire and destroys it. Susie collapses. Gwen lives. Ianto, putting Susie back in cold storage, points out gloves come in pairs. Set up for the back half of season 2. The show has now killed Susie twice. It is about to bring a different dead man back to teach Gwen something Susie never figured out. A ghost episode. A young man named Eugene Jones is dead. He is also still here, invisible, walking the city, watching Gwen investigate his death. She works the case for 3 days, slowly piecing together the bullies who scammed him, the alien eye he swallowed before they could take it, the father who lied about leaving, the friends who failed him. At the funeral, Gwen finally gets the eye back. Eugene saves her from a car on the way out. Everyone sees him for one last second. Gwen kisses him. He goes up into the light. The episode where Torchwood remembers it is a Russell T Davies show with a soft heart underneath the alien gore. A 1953 propeller plane drops out of the rift onto a Cardiff airfield in 2007. 3-time displaced passengers: Diane the pilot, John the businessman, and Emma the young woman. Owen falls in love with Diane. She leaves him by flying back into the rift in the same weather conditions. Off into the clouds. Gone. John discovers his only son has Alzheimer's and kills himself with carbon monoxide in Ianto's car. Jack sits in the passenger seat as he dies because Jack cannot, and somebody should. Emma gets a job in London. The episode ends on Owen sobbing alone at the airstrip, a Cardiff fight club where rich men pay £1,000 to step into a cage with a captive weevil. Owen, still wrecked from Diane's loss, goes undercover. He stops trying to win the fight halfway through. The weevil mauls him. The club's leader, Mark Lynch, climbs into the cage himself to die rather than face prison. Jack watches the weevil kill him. Owen comes back to the hub the next morning. He stares down 2 captive weevils in their cells and hisses at them until they cower. He is now the king of the weevils. The show is letting Owen turn into something a little inhuman, and the show is not going to walk it back. Next stop, Jack's name. The one he stole. The dance floor he stole it on. Jack and Tosh investigate a derelict dance hall called the Ritz. They walk down a set of stairs and come out in 1941. The hall is full of dancers. The Blitz is overhead. Tosh meets an American volunteer captain in an RAF uniform who introduces himself as Captain Jack Harkness. Their Jack went still. Their Jack is using a stolen name. The real Captain Jack Harkness is a young American volunteer flying for the RAF 24 hours from dying in a routine training exercise. Their Jack took his identity decades ago because the real one was about to be erased. They spend the episode trying to get home through the rift. The dance hall manager, a calm older gentleman named Billis Manger, is in 1941. He is also somehow in 2007. He is taking Polaroids. In the final minute, with the rift cracking open behind them, our Jack kisses the real Jack on the dance floor in front of the entire ballroom, in front of God and the orchestra and 1941, and then walks back through the rift forever. The real Jack salutes him as he vanishes. It is the gayest hour of network television the BBC had aired in years. The fans never stopped talking about it. The season finale. Belus Manger is the season antagonist. He has been seeding visions into the team for weeks, manipulating them into opening the rift. Visions of dead loved ones. Diane for Owen, Tosh's mother for Tosh, Lisa for Ianto, a dead Reese for Gwen. Belus kills Reese to make Gwen do it. Reese dies in the cells. The team lays him out on the autopsy slab. Owen shoots Jack in the head and the chest twice to force a retinal scan and open the rift. The team activates the manipulator. What comes through is a creature called Abaddon, the son of the great beast, cast out before time. Its shadow kills anyone it falls on. Cardiff starts dropping. Jack walks into Abaddon's shadow alone and lets it feed on him. His immortality drains into it and kills it. Jack stays dead this time. Not for minutes, for days. The team grieves around the body. Gwen will not leave his side. After days of vigil, she finally kisses him goodbye. Behind her, he gasps awake. Jack returns to the team. He hugs Tosh. He kisses Ianto on the lips on screen for the first time. He embraces Owen and tells him, "I forgive you." The case is closed. The rift is sealed. Belus Manger has escaped. Then Jack hears a sound coming from a glass jar in the corner. A severed hand begins to glow. The TARDIS materializes. Jack runs to it and vanishes. He has been waiting 140 years for the right kind of doctor. He just heard him land. Jack is back from a season of Doctor Who. The 10th Doctor took him to the end of the universe. He came home different. He arrives at a Cardiff standoff and shoots a blowfish that is holding a hostage. He turns to the team. "Hey kids, did you miss me?" Then his ex shows up. Captain John Hart, played by Buffy's James Marsters in Eyeliner and Leather, is Jack's former time agency partner and ex-husband, give or take. He greets Jack with a tongue kiss, followed by a fistfight, followed by another tongue kiss. He claims he has come to Earth on a mission to find 3 radiation cluster bombs. He has not. He is looking for a diamond. The bombs are bait for the team. He poisons Gwen with paralytic lip gloss. He shoots Owen in the hip. He pushes Jack off a roof. The diamond does not exist. He takes the team out one by one 3/4 of the way through, then needs them to keep him alive when his own employer puts a bomb in his chest. He leaves alive. On the way out, he tells Jack, "By the way, I found Gray." Jack's face goes white. The audience is told nothing. Gray gets put on a shelf for the rest of the season. A burglary goes wrong. 2 armed men break into a couple's bedroom. The wife, Beth, kills both of them. She has no memory of it. Beth is a sleeper agent for an alien advance force called Cell 114. She does not know it. Her implant is buried in her arm. Her memories of being human are real, because they are also true. She is just also the invasion. The team activates her by accident with a mind probe. The Cell 114 hive mind awakens. Sleepers across Cardiff stand up at the same time and start dismembering their loved ones. They blow up a fuel depot. They go for the nuclear stockpile. Beth, recognizing what she is, asks Gwen to remember her as the person she thought she was. She raises her killing arm at Gwen and forces the team to shoot her dead in front of her husband. A World War I soldier named Tommy has been in Torchwood's cryogenic storage since 1918. They thaw him out one day a year to make sure he still works. Today is the day Tommy stops the rift. He has to be sent back to 1918 to step through a fracture and close it. He will be shot for cowardice in France the following month. He knows. Tosh has fallen for him over the last few visits. She walks him through his own death anyway. It is the saddest hour of the season so far. The show is just getting started. Reese finds out his haulage company has been smuggling alien meat for months. He follows Gwen onto a case, gets captured, and discovers Torchwood has been keeping a giant living alien in a warehouse, harvested for food. Gwen tells him everything. Jack tells Gwen to retcon him. Gwen takes the pill in her hand to give to him. She does not. She walks Reese out of the hub, knowing exactly what he knows. Jack lets it go. The audience appreciates it. A new team member named Adam walks into the hub and nobody questions it. Every memory in the team is rewritten. Adam has always been here. Adam played basketball with Gwen on her first day. Adam is dating Tosh. Adam is an alien that exists only as long as people remember him. He has implanted himself in their heads to stay alive. He convinces Ianto he is a serial killer. He almost erases Gwen's memories of Reese. Jack figures it out. The team takes amnesia pills and erases Adam from their own heads. Adam blinks out of existence mid-sentence. We close on Jack staring at a wooden box full of sand. An old childhood memory of his lost brother Gray, now a stranger in his own past. Martha Jones arrives. Yes, that Martha Jones from Doctor Who, the medical student who saved the universe in the year that never was. She is now with UNIT. She crosses over to Cardiff for a single arc. A pharmaceutical medical research center called The Farm has invented a drug that cures cancer, HIV, diabetes, anything, by injecting alien mayfly larvae into your bloodstream. The downside is the larvae hatch and eat you from the inside out. Martha goes undercover. The Farm captures her. The team raids. Owen rescues her on the runway. The lead scientist shoots Owen in the chest at the exit. He dies on the pavement. Martha cannot save him. Tosh, sobbing, holds his hand. Jack watches the only doctor he has not yet failed go cold. It is the end of the third act of the season. There are still 7 episodes to go. Jack does not accept it. He goes to a creepy tarot reading girl who tells him where to find the second resurrection gauntlet. He goes to an abandoned church. He brings Owen back from the dead. It works. It also does not switch off. Owen is alive again. He cannot eat. He cannot sleep. He cannot heal. He cannot get drunk. He cannot have sex because erections require blood flow. He is the walking dead. The gauntlet has dragged something else through with him, the avatar of death itself. Death tries to claim 13 lives at the hospital to enter the world permanently. Owen, the only person already dead, fights it. He punches the avatar of death back into the dark. He saves a child named Jamie Burton. Owen is now permanently undead. He is also still on the team. The show does not soften it. He is dead. He is just keeping going. Owen, on a rooftop, talks a woman out of jumping. He tells her about being dead. He tells her about Henry Parker, an old recluse he met on a mission earlier in the episode, and how Henry died in his arms because Owen cannot perform CPR without breath. He tells her about jumping into the Cardiff Canal and spending 36 minutes underwater trying to drown himself before he gave up and surfaced because he cannot drown either. The woman comes off the ledge. Owen goes back to work. Martha goes back to unit. The team writes her out. Death does not. Gwen and Reese's wedding. The night before, on a routine alien hunt, an alien Nostrovite bites Gwen on the arm. She wakes up the next morning, 9 months pregnant with an alien egg. The show plays it as comedy because that is the only way to get through it. The Nostrovite mother breaks into the wedding to harvest its young. She impersonates Reese's mother. Reese finally gets his chainsaw moment. The chainsaw stalls. Jack arrives with a laser rifle from the SUV and incinerates the alien. Gwen and Reese get married in the wreckage. Jack retcons the entire guest list except them. Final beat, Jack alone at the hub, looking through old photographs, stopping on one of himself standing next to a bride at a wedding from a very long time ago. A black and white silent film of a 1920s traveling carnival starts running itself in a Cardiff theater. 2 of the performers step out of the screen. The Ghostmaker and his mermaid woman are stealing the last breaths of Cardiff residents and storing them in silver flasks. Jack used to be in the carnival. He was the man who could not die. The sideshow. The team captures the troupe back onto a film reel and exposes it to sunlight, exorcising the ghosts. Jack saves a child's last breath at the cost of 3 other lives. He suspects there are more reels of the night travelers out in the world. The episode ends ambiguous. Gwen finds the cabinet Jack has been hiding. Hundreds of people across Cardiff have been swallowed by the rift over the years and spat back out, broken, sometimes decades after they were taken. Jack has been keeping them alive in a hidden facility on Flatholm Island. One of them is a missing teenage boy named Jonah. The rift took him for a few seconds. It returned him 40 years older, scarred, screaming 20 hours a day because he looked into the heart of a dark star. Gwen brings his mother to see him. The reunion lasts 3 minutes before Jonah's daily scream begins. The mother flees the island. Gwen brings her notes back to Reese at home, puts dinner on the table, and breaks down sobbing into his chest. The team gets caught in a booby-trapped warehouse. The blast knocks 4 of them unconscious. The episode tells how each of them ended up at Torchwood. Jack, picked up by the all-female Victorian Torchwood 3 in 1899. Frozen forward to New Year's Eve 1999, when his boss Alex Hopkins Mercy killed the rest of the team and shot himself, rather than face the 21st century. The 21st century is when it all changes. And we're not ready. Tosh, recruited out of a unit black site prison after building a sonic modulator from flawed instructions to save her mother from kidnappers. Ianto, the ex-Torchwood 1 survivor who chased Jack around Cardiff harassing him for a job, won him over by helping catch a runaway pterodactyl with dark chocolate. Did not mention the half-converted girlfriend in the basement. Owen, a young doctor whose fiancée Katie was dying of an alien tumor that secreted poison gas when threatened. Manticore, sorry, Torchwood, arrived at the operating theater too late. Everyone in the OR died. Jack retconned Owen and walked away. They met again at Katie's grave. In the present, Captain John Hart's hologram appears. The bomb was him. He has Jack's brother, Gray. Gray is the season's true antagonist. Captain John has been working for him under coercion. Gray is Jack's little brother. Jack let go of his hand as a child on the Beauchene Peninsula during an alien raid. Gray was taken and tortured for what felt like centuries. He blames Jack for every second. He buries Jack alive under what becomes Cardiff in 27 AD. Jack will suffocate, die, resurrect, and suffocate again, on loop, for 2,000 years. John fills in the grave with shaking hands and drops in a tracking beacon. Torchwood digs Jack up in 1901 and freezes him in the morgue until the present day catches up to him. Gray, in the present, releases Weevils into Cardiff. He shoots Tosh in the stomach in the hub. Tosh, bleeding out in the autopsy bay, talks Owen through reversing the meltdown at a nuclear power plant where he is locked behind a sealed door. The coolant system venting traps him inside. Owen realizes what is about to happen to him. He asks Tosh what irradiated coolant does to a body that cannot die. She tells him. He starts shouting. Then he stops. She tells him to calm down. She tells him he is breaking her heart. They die together over comms. Owen, in his last breath as the wave hits him. Oh God. Tosh, watching his life signature flatline on her monitor, bleeds out a moment later. Jack arrives too late. He cradles her body. She smiles up at him one last time and dies in his arms. Tosh's pre-recorded video farewell plays at her logout. She thanks the team. She tells Owen she loves him. The hub goes dark on 3 survivors: Jack, Gwen, Ianto. The deaths of Tosh and Owen were broadcast on April 4, 2008 on BBC Two. Both actors had been on the show since the pilot. They had built the team together. Nyoko Mori and Bern Gorman did not know they were being written out until late in the season. The BBC handed them their goodbye scripts, and they sat in a Cardiff cafe and read them. They came back to the soundstage knowing they were dying. The death scene over comms, where Tosh talks Owen through the panic of his second death while bleeding out herself on the autopsy steps, is 15 minutes of 2 actors saying goodbye to each other and to the show. The hub now has 3 people in it. None of them will be alive by the end of Season 3. Series 2 is over. Series 3 is going to be worse. 5 episodes, 5 consecutive nights on BBC One. The most ambitious thing Torchwood ever attempted, and the thing that broke the show in half. Across the world, at 8:40 in the morning, every child stops moving for 60 seconds. Then they walk again with no memory. At 10:30, they stop again, and they speak together in one voice. We are coming. Inside Whitehall, Permanent Secretary John Frobisher, played by Peter Capaldi 5 years before he became the Doctor himself, is put in charge of the crisis by a prime minister who wants deniability. Frobisher orders a hit on every government employee who ever knew the truth about a 1965 event the public was never told about. 4 names. One of them is Captain Jack Harkness, a young Cardiff hospital plant named Dr. Rupesh Patanjali, working for a British government black ops unit, infiltrates the team, shoots Jack on a hospital morgue table, watches him come back, then helps the assassin surgically implant a bomb inside his stomach while he is unconscious. Jack returns to the hub. He gives Ianto a kiss and tells him he will come back. He always does. The hub explodes. Every child on Earth, in one voice, says, "We are coming. We are coming. We are coming back." Ianto and Gwen survive. Reese is in Cardiff. Jack is in a body bag. Special forces under a deeply competent woman named Agent Johnson scrape Jack's remains, an arm and a head, out of the rubble and take them to a warehouse to watch him slowly regenerate from charred meat back into a man, which takes hours and is one of the most horrific things this show ever puts on screen. Once he is fully reformed, Johnson seals him in a concrete block to keep him contained. Ianto crashes a forklift through the wall, rips the cement out of the room, and drives off. The team digs Jack out in a quarry. He emerges naked and shivering, and they put a funeral director's coat on him. A new hub is set up in an empty Torchwood 1 storage warehouse. Gwen tells Reese, on a stolen rooftop, that she is pregnant. A pillar of fire descends from the sky onto Thames House in London. The aliens are inside the building, in a sealed tank, in a poisonous gas atmosphere. They call themselves the 456. The team recruits a young Home Office secretary named Lois Habiba into wearing contact lens cameras into the meeting room so Torchwood can record the cabinet from the inside. In the room, Frobisher demands the 456 cease using human children as transmitters. The 456 respond. They want to give 10% of the children on Earth. A psychiatric patient named Clem MacDonald arrives at the new hub. Clem was a child in Scotland in 1965. He recognizes Captain Jack by smell. In 1965, Britain handed 12 children over to the 456 as a gift in exchange for the cure to a flu pandemic. Jack was the Torchwood operative who personally walked the kids over to the light. Clem was the one child who escaped. Jack did not know he survived. The episode that broke the fans. The cabinet meets in Cobra to decide which children to surrender. Cabinet Minister Denise Riley proposes a school league tables method. The bottom schools, the failing schools. Those produce the kids who will end up as drains on society. Hand them over. Save the rest. The cabinet votes yes. Frobisher writes the operation. Inoculation buses. False vaccines. Random pickup. Blame the 456 when the children disappear. Jack and Ianto break into Tem's house to confront the 456 directly. Jack delivers the line, "I am Captain Jack Harkness." He demands the 456 leave Earth. He makes it a war. The 456 release a virus through the ventilation. Tem's house goes into lockdown. Everyone inside, dead or dying. Ianto, hit immediately, collapses into Jack's arms. He whispers, "I love you." He whispers, "Don't forget me." Jack whispers back, "Never could." Ianto tells him, "1,000 years' time? You won't remember me." Jack tells him, "Yes, I will. I promise I will." Ianto dies. Jack catches the virus and dies in his lover's arms. Gwen finds them both in the morgue room hours later. She lifts the sheet off Jack. She smiles, knowing he will come back. She lifts the sheet off Ianto. She knows he will not. The fans never recovered. The hashtag #SaveIanto trended for days. Twitter petitions went up. A campaign called Save Coffee Boy ran for years. Russell T. Davies, in interviews afterward, said he had to kill Ianto because if he had not, the audience would not believe Steven was about to die in the next episode. That is the kind of show he was running. He kept the body count rising, so the audience would never feel safe. It worked. The audience never felt safe. The British Army moves on every primary school in the country. John Frobisher is ordered by the PM to volunteer his own daughters for the roundup as PR cover. He goes home to his wife Anna and his two daughters Lily and Holly. He shoots all three of them at the kitchen table and then himself, rather than let the 456 take his children. Across Cardiff, Ianto's sister Rhiannon and her husband Johnny refuse. The estate fathers form a barricade. The soldiers come anyway. The children are loaded onto buses. Jack, taken into custody by Agent Johnson, figures out how to stop the 456. The wave they used to kill Clem can be reversed and amplified through Earth's children, blowing the aliens back through their own connection. But the wave needs a transmitter, a single child to channel it. The child will fry. The only child available to Jack is his own grandson, Stephen Carter, Alice's son. Jack's daughter has been kept in a holding cell for 2 days. Stephen is here. Jack overrides his daughter's objection. Stephen, still calling him uncle, asks Jack what he is doing. Jack does not answer. He activates the wave. Stephen dies in front of him. The 456 are destroyed by their own kill frequency. Earth keeps its children. Alice screams the word, "Why at Jack?" and never speaks to him again. 6 months later, on a hilltop, Jack hands Gwen back his vortex manipulator, the one piece of Torchwood equipment that survived the hub explosion. He tells her there is a cold fusion freighter at the edge of the solar system. He is getting on it. She tells him he cannot just run away. He tells her, "Yes, I can. Watch me." And he vanishes off Earth. Gwen is heavily pregnant. Reese holds her up. Torchwood is finished. That is what the BBC thinks anyway. Children of Earth aired on BBC 1 on 5 consecutive nights in July of 2009. It pulled 6 million viewers on the first night and finished at over 6.5 million. It is one of the highest rated weeks BBC One had that summer. It is also the moment Torchwood stopped being a fun adult Doctor Who spin-off and became a piece of television that British critics put on lists of the bleakest drama the network had aired in a decade. The fans who could keep watching after day 4 were not the same audience the show started with. The fans who could not keep watching after day 4 were the ones who loved Ianto. Russell T. Davies got hired by Starz to keep going. They wanted 10 more episodes. They wanted Americans in it. They wanted bigger. They got Miracle Day. 2 years later, America buys in. Starz, the premium cable network, partners with the BBC for a 10-episode American-British co-production. Russell T. Davies moves to Los Angeles. The show goes from intimate grief miniseries to global conspiracy thriller. One day on Earth, nobody dies. A child killer named Oswald Danes is strapped to a lethal injection gurney. The needle goes in. He does not die. The state has to release him. CIA agent Rex Matheson takes a pole through the chest on a highway. He does not die. He gets dressed and gets on a plane to Wales. In Cardiff, the word Torchwood reappears in classified American databases right as Jack Harkness comes back. Esther Drummond, a CIA junior agent, is the only person noticing. Jack retcons her. Gwen and Reese and their daughter Anwen have been living in hiding in rural Wales. A helicopter blows up their cottage. Jack arrives on a beach with a bazooka. The old team is back, sort of. 2 members, plus a CIA agent who refuses to die. CIA, Welsh police, and a freshly recruited Esther are deputized to bring them all to America. Rendition: Welcome to Miracle Day. On the flight, an undercover assassin named Lynn poisons Jack with arsenic. Dr. Vera Juarez talks the team through field treatment over a phone line. They concoct an EDTA antidote from materials on the plane. Jack survives. Jack is, for the first time in his adult life, mortal. The miracle has done to him exactly what it has done to everybody else, in reverse. He can die, everyone else cannot. The team lands at Dulles. The flight attendants try to detain them. Rex breaks them out. Lynn comes back with a snapped neck and a smile because the miracle keeps her upright. They drive off. Welcome to Torchwood, American Edition. A pharmaceutical company called PhyCorp turns out to have stockpiled trillions of painkillers across the country in the weeks before the miracle. They knew it was coming. They are now positioned to be the only supplier of pain management for an entire suffering planet. A cult called the Soulless takes to the streets, claiming immortality has cost humanity their souls. Oswald Danes, the child killer, becomes a public figure. His on-air apology to his victim's mother goes viral. PhyCorp signs him as a spokesperson. Jack ends up at a bar. He sleeps with the bartender, a young man named Brad, for the first sex scene Torchwood ever shot in America, which Stars airs at 10 p.m. and the BBC airs at 11 p.m. with maybe 2 seconds clipped. Rex sleeps with Vera. The show is now an HBO-style cable drama with aliens. The mythology drift is real. The team goes west. They infiltrate a PhyCorp data center using identity theft and a stolen iris from a security architect named Frumpkin. They learn PhyCorp is building overflow camps for the immortal sick. Anti-miracle activist Ellis Hartley Monroe leads a movement called Dead is Dead, advocating that everyone who should have died be treated as if they have. She is, on the same day, replaced by Oswald Danes as PhyCorp's frontwoman, kidnapped and disposed of by a calm voice on a dashboard screen. We are everywhere. We are always. We are no one. And soon, the families will rise. She is crushed alive inside a car. She does not die. She watches it happen. The American Congress and the British government enact a 3-tier system. Category 1 is brain dead, or what would have been corpses. Category 2 is everything in between. Category 3 is fine. The overflow camps fill up with categories 1 and 2. The category 1s are sent to modules. The modules are not what the press releases say they are. Vera Juarez goes undercover at the San Pedro camp. She finds patients in filth, sorted by ovens, mismarked, dying in dark wards. She confronts the camp commander, Colin Maloney. He shoots her twice. He carries her unconscious into the module and slides her into a chamber that is, in fact, a cremation oven. He turns it on. She wakes up inside as the flames start. Rex, undercover as a Category 1, films the smoke coming out of the module on a hidden camera. Across the Atlantic, Gwen reaches Cardiff's Cowbridge camp on the same day. She watches the smoke rise from the same kind of oven over a Welsh sky. Governments are burning their own citizens. The miracle has built the camps in 5 months. Gwen blows up Cowbridge. She walks into the Welsh camp wearing the i5 contact lens cameras, broadcasts to the world, and detonates a planted bomb in front of an oven. This is the truth for the whole world to see. We let our governments build concentration camps. They built ovens for people in our names. Now, I don't care if the whole of society bends over and takes this like a dog. I'm saying no. The fire is on every news channel by morning. The White House refuses to apologize and compares the camps to a state of emergency. Rex and Esther escape San Pedro after Esther chokes Colin Maloney into temporary unconsciousness. He revives. He chokes her. A guard shoots him in the side. At the airport, Gwen receives a message via her contact lenses. We have your mother. We have your husband. We have your child. Bring us Jack. Gwen tasers Jack, ties him up in the back of a car, and drives east into the California desert. Then we go back to 1927. Jack at Ellis Island. A young Italian named Angelo Colasanto picks Jack's pocket. Jack forges him a visa with future tech and walks him off the island. They take a room over a butcher's shop in Little Italy. They become lovers. Angelo prays the rosary every night. A year later, they get pulled into a mob job. Jack opens a sealed box he was told not to open. Inside is an alien parasite called a brain spawn, smuggled in by the Tricksters Brigade to be implanted in Franklin Roosevelt before he can become the wartime longtime president. Jack incinerates it. He warns Angelo to pull his money out of the banks before the 1929 crash. The mob shoots Jack in the head in front of Angelo and arrests Angelo for the murder. Sing Sing, a year in. Angelo gets out in 1928. Jack walks back into the butcher's flat smiling. The same suit, no scar. Angelo screams that Jack is Il Diavolo and stabs him. The butchers downstairs, the Giardanos, watch Jack come back. Word spreads through the neighborhood. The crowd ties Jack to the meat hooks in the cellar and kills him over and over for hours, collecting his blood in a bottle. 3 quiet men stand at the back of the room. They are Costerdane, Friens, Abelmarch. They watch Jack die a dozen times in an afternoon. They offer Mr. Giardano $10,000 for him and walk out with vials of his blood. 3 families, 1 investment, 1 miracle, 83 years later. In the present, Gwen pulls into the rendezvous. The kidnapper's representative greets Jack. Snipers, on a tip from Rex and Esther, kill her people. The trade is dead. Gwen demands answers. The woman tells Jack he is going with them anyway. To Angelo Colasanto. He has been waiting. Angelo is 112. He is in a bed in a desert mansion in California, attached to a respirator. His granddaughter Olivia explains. He has spent his life looking for a way to do to himself what was done to Jack. He failed. The 3 families succeeded, and they cut him out for being too close to Jack. The CIA storms the mansion. Rex's old boss, Brian Friedkin, is exposed as a 3 families plant. He sets off a suicide vest. Olivia is killed. Friedkin is killed. Jack walks back to Angelo's bedside, removes his breathing apparatus, and kisses him on the mouth as he dies. The episode does not flinch from it. Esther notices the floor under Angelo's bed is 2 inches higher than the rest of the room. Jack lifts the rug. Underneath is a null field generator, masking the morphic field that allows the miracle to function. It is alien tech. The 3 families have been hiding it from every government on Earth. The CIA wants to take it. Jack knows what that means. He fakes an escape with Rex's help and goes underground, badly shot in the chest by a guard. Esther drives him into Scotland to recover. 2 months pass. The world has not died. The Category 1 ovens are running constantly. The economy is collapsing under the weight of an immortal population that cannot work and cannot stop consuming. Esther has been keeping Jack alive in a Scottish farmhouse, storing his blood in a freezer because she does not entirely trust him to. Oswald Danes shows up at Gwen's house demanding Jack. The team digs in. Jilly's mistranslated news clips, a Shanghai blood bank survivor, and Reese at the map of the world all point at the same answer. The blessing. 2 locations, Shanghai and Buenos Aires, Antipodal, on opposite sides of the planet. The 3 families use Jack's blood at both sites to start the miracle. Reverse it by sending his blood back through both sites at once. The team splits. Gwen and Jack and Oswald to Shanghai. Esther and Rex to Buenos Aires. The Welsh police take Gwen's father, an immortal Category 1, into custody for the ovens. The series finale. In Buenos Aires, a 3 families operative blows himself up next to Rex and Esther's blood supply. Their stash is gone. Without Jack's blood at both ends, the miracle cannot be reversed. Esther had a backup. Before they left, she transfused almost all of Jack's blood directly into Rex's veins. Rex did not die. The miracle held him together. In Shanghai, Gwen draws her pistol and aims it at Jack. The matriarch of the 3 families stops them. She tries to talk them down. The 3 families' plan was to control the world banks. Rex opens his chest wound. Gwen shoots Jack through the heart. Both men's blood, all of it, the same blood from the cellar in 1928, pours into the blessing at both ends of the world. The miracle ends in a breath. Every Category 1 across the planet wakes up for a single second of consciousness and then dies. Gwen's father, lying in a Cardiff oven queue, opens his eyes long enough to hear his wife say goodbye over a phone Reese is holding to his ear, and then he is gone. Oswald Danes detonates a suicide vest in Shanghai, taking the 3 families' matriarch with him. His last words are addressed to the little girl he killed years before. "I'm coming for you, Susie," he goes laughing. In Buenos Aires, Rex throws the 3 families' chief enforcer over the edge of the blessing. Death came back. Both fall. Esther dies on a medical cot outside an ambulance in Argentina. Jack revives. His immortality restored. Rex does not at first. Months later, at Esther's funeral, the CIA mole Charlotte Wills shoots Rex in the chest. He drops dead. He gasps back to life. His wounds close. The transfusion took. Jack's immortality has migrated. Rex is now the new Captain Jack. You, World War II. What the hell did you do to me? The show fades to black on him. Torchwood is officially over. Miracle Day did not land for everyone the way Children of Earth did. The American budget bought scale. It also flattened the intimacy. The hub was gone. gone, the Cardiff sky was gone. The team was now Jack, Gwen, 2 CIA strangers, and a recurring villain played by Bill Pullman, who spends 10 episodes being one of the most loathsome characters science fiction television has ever produced. Some fans loved it. Most never forgave it for not being Children of Earth 2, for running 10 hours instead of 5, and for the deaths it picked. Vera in the oven, Esther on the medical cot. Stars did not renew. The BBC did not pick the show back up. Russell T Davies moved on. So that is Torchwood. 4 seasons, 41 episodes, 1 rift in time, 2 destroyed hubs, 1 boyfriend dead in a London office building, 1 daughter who never spoke to her father again, 1 grandson on a transmitter chair, 1 team that started at 6 and ended at 3 and then ended at 2 and now stays at 1.5. Russell T Davies built it as the adults-only spin-off of Doctor Who, the show where the lead character could kiss a man and the BBC would not get a letter. He kept it that way for 13 episodes. Then he killed the heart of the team in episode 12. Then he killed the soul of the team in season 3, episode 4. Then he handed the show to Starz and turned it into a global conspiracy thriller about American healthcare with concentration camp ovens. The show survived the leap, mostly. The fans did not entirely. Children of Earth is, by every poll the British science fiction press has run since 2009, one of the greatest mini-series the BBC has ever made. 5 nights, 5 episodes. Peter Capaldi, 5 years before he became the Doctor himself. A government that hands children to aliens because the school league tables say it is the efficient solution. A father who shoots his own family at the kitchen table rather than send his children to the buses. A boyfriend who dies in a corridor whispering, "Don't forget me." A grandson who dies on a chair. Ianto Jones became the most mourned character in the show's history. The fans built a shrine to him at Cardiff Bay near the Mermaid Quay, taped to the railings along Roald Dahl Place, with letters and flowers and printed photographs. People still leave things. The shrine has now lasted longer than the show did. The cast scattered after Miracle Day. John Barrowman went back to musical theater and a long Arrowverse run as Malcolm Merlyn on the CW. Eve Miles went to play Faith on Keeping Faith, the BBC Wales legal drama that ran for 3 seasons and a podcast. Bern Gorman went to Hollywood and Pacific Rim and The Dark Knight Rises, and the kind of bald villain character work that pays your mortgage. Naoko Mori went back to West End Theater. Gareth David Lloyd, Ianto, kept working in conventions and podcasts and was very gentle about his character to everyone who wrote him a letter. Big Finish, the audio drama company, picked up the rights in 2015. They have been making audio Torchwood ever since. Captain Jack is still doing missions in a sound booth in London. Ianto is in some of them, set before season 3, episode 4, because nobody at Big Finish wants to give him up. A 5th season was teased for years, a hub for Doctor Who's anniversary specials. Russell T Davies came back to Doctor Who in 2023, and the Torchwood fans have been quietly hopeful ever since. He has, so far, not greenlit anything. The rift over Cardiff is still open. Captain Jack Harkness is somewhere out in the universe, refusing to die, remembering the boy he buried in Thames House. 1,000 years from now, he is keeping his promise. Gwen and Rhys are still in Cardiff. Anwen is almost a teenager. Her mother fought aliens for a living. Her godfather is immortal. She has been told. Rex Matheson, the new Immortal, the show's final cliffhanger, is in the CIA trying to figure out how to die. Big Finish has not picked him up. The fans wait. The shrine to Ianto Jones at the Mermaid Quay is still being topped up by new visitors, flowers, letters, small handwritten signs that read, "Remember, remember." People who walk past every weekend and put something down for a man who never existed because they cannot get over the way he said, "Don't forget me." Russell T Davies wrote that line knowing exactly what he was doing. Torchwood was the kind of show that broke you on purpose. It was funny. It was filthy. It was sad. It was, by Children of Earth, one of the most ambitious pieces of British television the BBC had aired in 20 years. It was, by Miracle Day, a global American thriller about pharmaceutical death camps. It was, by the end, a 4-season meditation on what it costs to be the one who cannot die when everyone you love can. Captain Jack walked out of Cardiff. Rex is in the chair, somewhere under Roald Dahl Place, in the dust of a hub nobody can rebuild. The severed hand of a Time Lord sits in a jar, waiting for the next time the door opens. If you want more shows that died too early, the playlist is on screen. Dark Angel is up, Almost Human, The Nevers, Caprica, Z Nation, Sanctuary. The graveyard of canceled science fiction television is deep, and we are taking them one at a time. Hit subscribe, stay for the next one. The grid is down, the rift is open. Somewhere in Cardiff, the lift rises. Somewhere on the coast, a man in a long coat stands at the edge of the harbor, waiting for something to fall out of the sky. He has been waiting a long time. He is in no hurry. Seriously,